Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new, warm welcome. And if you are liking it, just comment, share, and subscribe if your heart desires. And I very much appreciate it. Thought I'd do kind of like a two-part installment kind of thing with this video. I'm gonna finally give you a thing on John List. And we are going to also, give a little look-see on some things that I have purchased. So I think the first part of this is going to be pretty much, the look that you're seeing is technically the one of the newer palettes that I purchased. I do have a couple of non-makeup type of items that I thought, I kind of need to get, and I decided to get some products that contain kind of like the collagen that kind of, keep, the skin looking youthful and keeping things looking from aging too much, because right in here around my eye area I'm starting to notice a little bit of sagging a little bit, and a little bit of maybe just some minor wrinkles like in underneath the eyes, but that's something that can be dealt with an eye cream, and I kind of use that for that reason. It is a newer product. It is the, oh my gosh, it's gold writing on a blue jar, so it's kind of hard to see. It is the oh my gosh, this is crazy. It's I think I still have the box. Maybe I don't. It is the Replenishing Facial Moisturizer. It is the if I'm not mistaken, I see another product with the, I think it's a Precision Beauty, I think. Kind of like these. I think it is. It might be something else. Dang, that really irritates me that I can't read the writing on that. But whatever. It is a replenishing facial moisturizer with the hyaluronic and the collagen, and stuff like that you kind of need for maturing skin, especially underneath the eyes. It just really seems to work well. We went to Marshall's, and my husband allowed my daughter and I to purchase some items. He said, but if you come out with any kind of, cosmetics that you don't need, I'm going to take them back. But, he hasn't yet, and I've already used them anyway, so you can't take back used makeup anyway. And something that I've had for a while anyway from Marshall's, the Kio Dark Circle eye cream, which I tend to really like. I'm not sure, I don't remember seeing any of it when we were there the other day. But this is a nice one, for the under eye area. Under eye area with me is kind of, a thing. I need it because I have dark circles underneath my eyes usually, and most of it is from the I have heard from my mom that it is kind of genetic. You get these little sleepy, hollow looking little eyes. It's crazy looking. But what the heck? While we're on the hyaluronic thing, I saw that they had these the hyaluronic acid ultra hydrating peel off mask from the Precision Beauty. You don't need a whole lot of this. The first night that I tried this, I put a little too much on, and it was really, really hard to get off. But you got to be real careful not to hit the hairline or the brows, because it's very, very hard to get out. You put on a really, really super thin layer of the stuff. It is really, really nice, because as soon as you remove it, you can actually feel the difference in your skin. If there's any like residual left on your skin, just use a little bit of like tepid water. Just removes the residual stuff off, and oh my gosh, such a difference. You just follow it with a a moisturizer of choice, and oh my gosh, it is worth maintaining your skin. If you use hyaluronic acid, anything, it's good stuff. Don't go nuts with it. I mean, I would only go maybe like a couple nights out of the week. I wouldn't do it every night. Just totally depends. I noticed that they had a collagen rose water. It instantly revives dry, lackluster skin. It is enriched with watermelon and peptide complex. It is a advanced clinicals. It is a spray. It kind of just gives the skin a very nice, soothing, plump, and smooth look. You want your skin to be nice and smooth, and especially as you age, that's going to be a nice. It's a very, very nice, soothing smell, and especially if you do your regimen at night, it helps you, get winding down, so going to bed is easier for you, especially when you go to bed at night. Some people go to bed during the day, depending, if you do what they call night shift, and I would never do night shift. I had such a hard time finding this on the shelves anywhere anymore. St. Ives Radiant Skin Scrub, because normally I use the one with avocado and honey. It has a really nice earthy smell to it. This stuff I had a hard time finding for the longest time is the Radiant Skin. It polishes away dullness and purifies for a radiant glow. It smells so nice. And I'm just glad I was able to get it. And you can see where I pulled off the sticker. Most of this stuff, and plus the stuff that my daughter got, altogether came to between us would have been like $25 in between the both of us. So together we spent close to $50. But that's okay. Okay. I got this one yesterday. And there's another one that I got, a couple of days ago. This one, I've done a couple of looks so far with it. This is the Ismay from New York. And this is so beautiful. As you can tell from the makeup today, it's kind of like a bronze and gold on the eye. And it comes with a really, really nice, soft brush. It doesn't come with a foam applicator, which is great. And I'm telling you, just a mixture of some of these today. I used let's see, this it almost looks like a mocha kind of. This one right down here, the warmer shades, and some of the cooler shades are up here. This one way down here looks more like an aubergine, but I use this one almost like a mocha, and then this burnished deep gold like on the lid. And oh my gosh, it just looked really, really good today. And using this one right up in here, this cream shade over the top, the picture on my Instagram. I'm gonna start linking my Instagram with these. I mean, I swore that I wasn't going to do that, but I think I'm okay to do that now. So, but oh my gosh. Last night, I took off the eye makeup that I did for work yesterday, which was more like a romantic burgundy goth kind of thing going on, because I had a beautiful lipstick I wanted to use, and I thought, okay, I used more of that smoky gray down here and one of these pinky shades up here, and along with a really pretty pink blush and lipstick, and relined and everything, and pulled my hair a certain way. It almost looked like a 80s version of myself. It just looked so pretty, but it reminded me of like a 80s Barbie doll version of myself. So it's crazy, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's so fun. Okay, a couple of days ago we were in my husband and I went to Marshall's on our own, because he had to get some things as well. I found this for $5.99. It is a Sephora pocket palette. I have never had anything Sephora. This was $5 something. Oh my gosh. These are the sun shadows. These, when you see them in the sun on your skin, and if you can wear warmer colors, they reflect in the sun and they look fantastic. Oh my gosh. And especially this one up here, it almost looks like a it's really, really hard to describe. I think it's kind of like almost like what I'm wearing today, a really beautiful bronzy shade. It has a lot of flecks of almost looks like it should have a lot of flecks of like reflective quality, something, maybe some champagne in there, but it's so pretty. And when I had it on my eyes, it was like, wow. And I put my glasses on with it, and I thought, wow, that looks really, really nice. We're talking the gold frames, and it looked like really, really super nice. And I'm like, wow, this looks so freaking good. And along with my bronzer and highlighter, it just looked really, really super good. You're probably going to notice, I have a little bit of like something going on up in here. It's a little puffy, and I think it might be an allergy. Having some allergy like in my skin here lately. I don't know what this is, but we won't talk about it. We just won't talk about it. I did use one of my lifter glosses today. The Maybelline lifter gloss, and this one's in the bronze. Just to pull this a little bit. I did not use a bronzer today. I just used kind of like a tawny shade of like blush. Okay, we are gonna go ahead and start talking about John West. It was like close to 14 minutes of makeup. Now we're going to start talking about another family annihilator. His name was John Emil List. He was born September 17th, 1925, and he died March 21st of 2008 while he was incarcerated. And they kind of class him as an American mass murderer, longtime fugitive, family annihilator. He this all happened in 1971. So we're kind of like going to go a little like all over the place for a little bit. November 9th, 1971, he kills his wife, his mother, and three of his children. Yes, 3 children at his home in Westfield, New Jersey, and then just abruptly drops from sight. Kind of seeing a thing here. Okay, kind of the way Brad Bishop did, but we never found him yet. So I'm hoping, there's time for this guy. Maybe I can find some kind of record somewhere, hopefully. So planning this was kind of fairly meticulous for him. So he kind of like did everything meticulously for a few months, so that nearly a month passed by before anybody noticed, that no one's home. It's like, John's not there, his wife is not there, his mother's not there. Heck, where are the children? He assumes a new identity. He remarries and eludes justice for nearly 18 years. He is finally apprehended in Virginia, June 1st of 1989, after the story of the murders had been broadcasted on America's Most Wanted. America's Most Wanted was like in its first year, its like first season, when they aired this. After extradition to New Jersey, he was convicted of 5 consecutive terms of life imprisonment, making him ineligible for parole for nearly 75 years. Well, he's going to be dead anyway by then. But List stated that critical financial issues or problems, as well as moral decay of his family and straying from religious faith as motivation for the murders. He disapproved of his daughter Patricia, and she was, I think, like 15 or 16 at the time. Interest in acting, theater, drama, I guess, he was not, too keen on the fact that she's headed that direction. He believed that killing his family was a sure way of getting them a place in heaven. We're talking, somebody who would use religion as the means of, dealing with his issues, where he hoped he would eventually be joining them. Johnny Neal died in prison in 2008 at the age of 82. Okay. So he was like the world's biggest procrastinator. He would, try anything, to explain it all away. His early life and education was kind of interesting. He was born in Bay City, Michigan, and the only son of German-American parents. His father was John Frederick List. He was born in 1859 and passed in 1944. And Alma Barbara Florence List, nice long name, she was born in 1887 and was murdered, of course, in 1971. Like his father, List was a devout Lutheran and a Sunday school teacher. He graduated from Bay City Central High School in 1943. The same year, he enlisted in the United States Army and served as a lab technician during World War II. After his discharge, he enrolled in the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. He received a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in accounting. He was really, really good with numbers. He was commissioned as a second lieutenant through the ROTC. Okay, now we're talking military and civilian. In November of 1950, we're in the Korean War. It was escalating. Things were getting really, really bad. List was recalled and into active military service. At Fort Eustis in Virginia, he meets his wife, Helen Morris Taylor, and she was the widow of a soldier who was already killed in action during the conflict, and she had already had a daughter. They chose to get married in Maryland because at the time they didn't do any blood testing for or require blood testing for any diseases like syphilis at the time, and it is recounted that she did have syphilis in advanced stages of syphilis later in her life. And she had this and didn't want to have to go through with a blood test in order to get married. And one of the reasons why they went through with getting married in Maryland. So they got married in Maryland on December 1st. The Army started recognizing how good he is with numbers, with his accounting skills. They reassigned him to the Finance Corps. He completed his second tour in 1952, worked for an accounting firm in Detroit, and then as an adult supervisor at a paper company at Kalamazoo. By 1959, he gets to the rise of a general supervisor of the company's accounting department. But by now, his wife was a raging alcoholic and has become increasingly unstable. By 1960, his stepdaughter Brenda decided to get married and leave the house. And List moved with the remainder of his family to Rochester to New York, taking a job with Xerox, which is kind of like a up and moving company at the time, eventually becoming director of accounting services. In 1965, he accepted a position as a vice president and comptroller at a bank in Jersey City, New Jersey. So, guess what? Up and move again. They move into Breeze Knoll, a 19-room Victorian mansion, which was like beyond their financial means. And it is located at 431 Hillside Avenue in Westfield, New Jersey. There are pictures on the internet where you can still see what it used to look like. It did burn to the ground years later. He never knew that there was like this beautiful ceiling light and chandelier, that was a Tiffany original. It was actually signed and could have gotten him out of debt. They were in extreme debt. Okay. All the breakdown on the murders. November 9th, 1971. He murders his entire family, used his 9mm Steyr semi-automatic handgun and his father's Colt .22 caliber revolver. So we're talking about, the ones with the chambers that actually turn. The children are at school. He first shoots his wife, Helen, she's 47 at the time, in the back of the head, and then his mother, Alma, who was 84, above the left eye. He's not expecting to have to pick up his daughter from school sick, because apparently she goes to the nurse and says, hey, not feeling good, I want to go home. So he's not expecting this. As she is now coming towards the house, he tries to get ahead of her, so he can kind of get behind her. She is 15. He shoots her in the back of the head. And then he waits for his younger son, Frederick, 13, to arrive home and shoots him. After making a quick lunch for himself, he drives to the bank to close out the account. And his mother's as well, kind of liquidating all of his assets, kind of. Cancels all his deliveries, the mail, the newspaper, and the milk deliveries, because then they were still getting milk deliveries. He goes to the school and tells them that the children will not be in school for a while, that they will be out of town. He decides to watch his eldest son play a soccer game and enjoys seeing him play. They go home. And because he can't seem to get a good shot on John, he's 15, it took 10 shots before the poor kid dies, and it's terrible. A misfire showed he tried in vain to defend himself. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. He places all the bodies on sleeping bags in the ballroom, leaving his mother in the attic because she's too heavy to move. He writes a 5-page letter to his pastor, leaving it on his desk, claiming all the evil in the world is just too much. He killed, he said, to save their souls. He cleaned up, stayed one night in the house, and then departed. Can you imagine that? The murders were not discovered until a month later, December 7th. Due in part that they were a reclusive family, nobody knew. They just knew that the lights were on and music was blaring, and they just started noticing the lights were going out one by one by one. Like something's going on here. Helen's mother was ill at the time anyway, so they thought, okay, they're out of town, so they didn't think anything of it. And she was going to be making a trip herself to Westfield to see the family, but since she was ill, she couldn't. So, and it's a good thing she hadn't, because she would have ended up becoming the 6th victim. Neighbors would notice the lights on at all hours of the lights were on all the time, with no apparent activity, and the lights, like I said, burn out one by one by one. Then they called the police. The officers entered through a broken door, an unlocked basement window and door that led into the bottom level of the house. And that was where they discovered the bodies. One officer would later recount, that it sounded like funeral dirge. Westfield rarely sees violent crime. Few have been recorded since 1963, and really don't receive such national attention like this one did. The most notorious being the felony and kidnapping and murder of Charles Lindbergh Jr. This one kind of got a nationwide manhunt. It was launched, and then there were hundreds of these without success. All reliable photos of Liz have been destroyed. The family car was parked at JFK Airport, New York City, but no evidence that he actually took a flight. His mother's body was flown to Frankenmuth, Michigan, and interned with the St. Lawrence Lutheran Cemetery. Helen and her 3 children were buried at Fairview Cemetery in Westfield. Breeze Knoll would remain empty until destroyed by fire in August of 1972, and this was 9 months after the murders. It was originally ruled arson, but remaining unsolved with no suspects. Weird. Quite weird. Along with the house, a stained glass skylight was destroyed. Noted a rumor that it was signed by as a Tiffany original, worth at least $100,000 at the time, and that's equivalent to $700,000 in 2022. 1974, there's been a house built on the property. So this could have solved all his financial problems, because he was having a hard time keeping a job. I mean, we're talking, person who would, get dressed every single day in a business suit. He would even, mow the lawn in a business suit. People thought he was weird. Okay. The relocation, arrest, and trial. In 1971, according to the FBI, Liz travels first to Michigan by train, then to Colorado. Settles in Denver in early 72, takes an accounting job under the name Robert P. Clark, after a college classmate. And although the real Robert Clark would later recount that he hardly knew John. From 79 to 86, he was the comptroller at a paper box manufacturer outside of Denver. He joins a Lutheran church and ran a carpool for shut-in members. Murders his own family, and he's still going to church. At a religious gathering, he meets APX clerk named Dolores Miller. They married in 1985. They moved back to Midlothian, east to Midlothian, Virginia. He was still using the name Bob Clark. Resumes work as an accountant at a small firm. 1972, he was a proposed subject, to the D.B. Cooper air piracy. If anybody remembers that, oh my goodness, the timing was not quite right, or matching, well, the reasoning. Nothing to lose. We're talking, 2 weeks prior to the hijacking. He was questioned about the D.B. Cooper case by the FBI, but no direct evidence, and they just didn't consider him a suspect anymore. The case is officially 18 years old and recounted on the Fox News TV program America's Most Wanted during its first year on the air. The segment featured a bust that had been age progressed by a forensic artist named Frank Bender. The clay sculpted and painted right down to the last detail of the glasses. The closest resemblance to list like ever. Less than 2 weeks, and he was arrested at a Richmond accounting firm. It was a neighbor from back in Colorado that actually made the call because she knew everything about him, down to a scar back behind his one ear. And she knew it. And she asked either her daughter or her son, and was like, "Hey, doesn't that look like Bob Clark?" It's like, that's Bob Clark. Bob Clark is John List. And it's like, so, there was like a lot of information on this guy, and I have to admit, not nearly as freaking creepy as Bradford Bishop, but kind of like same. Not every detail is the same, but they kind of have like some differences. Because John List decided to leave his victims out in plain view, as opposed to, like Brad Bishop, just, decided to dump the bodies and burn them. And we don't know, if, Brad Bishop may have even, remembered this case and thought, oh, that's a good idea. It's like, who knew? Don't know. I mean, at least we caught this guy. I mean, we call her John List. Who knew? But, but to use the religious card, come on. How many people do you know would say, hey, I want to save them from their sins, kill them and send them to heaven? Kind of crazy. But you got John List, onto a science, even though I kind of had to condense it a little bit. Makeup in this. So, thanks everyone, and we will be coming back soon, and give me an idea who you would like me to profile next. Love y'all so much. Peace.